Oklahoma City, whether it's the World Trade Center, whether it's Trayvon Martin, it's people physically getting taken out of the game.
Right.
For them to keep us fearful. Right?
Psychological warfare, right?
Right. Because if they can kill them, if they can make enough people afraid of them, people not going to resist their BS.
Right.
Right. So they need to instigate fear mongering through these chaotic events, these chaotic episodes. They know they lost. They know they leaving. They just trying to tear the house up on their way out.
Right. Somebody said, "Do you trust Trump?" I think he already broke that down in so many ways. Do we trust Donald Trump?
Somebody just messaged me something similar in my I was checking some of my messages. I'm behind about 4 days. But somebody asked me about Trump. Look, I don't even know if Trump real. I never met the man. I never shook his hand. But whoever playing that character, whether he's a real person or not, don't matter to me. Because the work that's being done in our face is telling me this is our buck dancing right here.
That's what I'm trying to tell you.
So while Agent Orange, that's his CIA code name for negotiation tactics and the negotiating of financial matters. That's his history. That's his record as a negotiator. He's Agent Orange. Why do they call him that? Ask a Vietnam vet to explain to you what Agent Orange does when they get on you.
Right.
Can't damn near get that shit off and stop it from burning. Yeah. Right? So the Orange Man, I don't have to trust him. I just have to know that the work that he's taking the credit for, whether he's doing it or not, is the work of dismantling the corporation, because we have to first take down the corporation, restore the republic, then the republic restores the common law, and everything go back to tribal government.
The republic really is officially up right now since January, right? Like the republic is officially back up. Like once Trump took the apparent look of office, the republic really has never went down, really. But I'm saying it's back up. Like that's what Trump bringing back in he bringing back in the republic. Because we pledge allegiance to the United States of America for the republic for which it stands. Why didn't they say Democrat right there? Some other part. Huh?
The Democrat was part of the Republican Party at first.
Go ahead.
It was called the Democratic Republic Party. Right? And the reason they said they split, now listen to the wording, to maintain the appearance of an adversarial system. The Democratic Republicans had wiped out a whole bunch of the Native Party, the Whig Party. It was a whole bunch of other political allied groups at the time. You didn't just have a two-party system, but they end up destroying all of the other political parties because they had the most influence. Because coming from the South, they carry in the whole South, right? Yeah. And when the split come, you could see clearly when the split come. Because when the split come, they stop painting the senators and congressmen with faces like ours and start painting them like faces from other people.
Yeah. Yeah. 22. I heard that I think that was Todd Sharif Bay that said that it was 22 Republican Moors in the Congress, and then the Ku Klux Klan went around forcing everybody to turn to Democrats.
Back then, that's when the Klan was being ran by the Black Hand.
Okay, go ahead. That makes sense.
Remember, the Black Brotherhood of Spain is the source of their regalia.
Yeah, go ahead.
In their literature is called the Koran. Right? The Koran tell you about Masonic ties.
Go ahead.
Secret societies and brotherhoods. So when you realize that when you read Masonic literature from the early 1900s, the KKK was a reputable secret society.
Yeah,
It wasn't it had nothing to do with a racist group. It was just it was a secret brotherhood, right? They had this movie and they had all these pale faces in the room, and the brother was telling them that he was the blood heir to the society. And they knew who he was, and they was hoping he didn't figure it out. But once he figured it out, he pulled rank on him.
Damn.
That's what the KKK is. See, it started out with some conquistadors running it.
Yeah.
And the conquistadors would make it look like it was an organization of pale faces.
Yeah.
But that's not what they started off as.
Yeah, I seen it. I've seen the pictures when they was in Morocco and they was wearing the white hoods before they even came over here. These conquistadors, they had these white hoods on. So that was an organization that already going back.
They had one in Spain too. Spain is the source of the regalia.
Okay, the wizard hat, looking hat, the grand wizard and all this.
Yeah,
yeah.
So all of those rankings, they have other secret societies that have those same titles and ranks. Just be aware of that.
Yep. 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 Hey, my next question for you, Rod. Somebody was asking. Now the IRS thing. Now, since we know that the this British crown is dissolving and Donald Trump is pretty much cutting everybody off, that tell them, hey, we don't need you no more.
If y'all collecting income taxes, this your last year, because they're gonna stop taking them out your check.
I think so too. I see that happening too.
Now,
Donald
if you
Trump
smart,
talking about that. Go ahead, Bill.
Yeah. If you smart, you do what I did when I was working at GM. I put percentage of my money into a 401k, way over what they was matching. That reduced my tax bracket and allowed me to bring more money home and allowed me to save money at the same time.
Hey, Rod, that's a smart play right there. Because it seemed like to me when I was working overtime, I only say if I made $100 overtime, they take 90 of it. Give me $10. Say, yeah, that's why you. They take 90 of it over. Like I'm like, damn, I might as well just shouldn't even work overtime.
Yeah. But see, that's what be making, like a lot of people only will work so many hours of overtime because when they do the math, it's not financially viable to do too much overtime because your tax bracket is start moving up to the next two brackets up if you make too much money in a year.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy.
It's all trickery and deception. It's a good way to steal because on the other side of that is the inflation on value of the currency. Okay. So your purchasing power at the register drastically diminishes with the inflation rise.
That's right.
So when they insert the interim currency, it's going to be a gold-back, probably silver-back currency. But when they reinsert it, it's going to immediately erase inflation. Price is going to drop. Candy bar is going to be a nickel again.
Damn, I believe it. I can see that.
Right.
Hey, go ahead.
So this is a necessary part of deconstructing the old system and reconstructing a new one.
Mm-hmm.
He said that the Internal Revenue Service is going to be the External Revenue Service now. What do that mean?
Right.
But all these people that we've been just they personal penny bank, they come over here and get in these slush funds and get whatever they need. Had the lobbyists put something in the bill so they can get economic aid. All that was the false pretense to circulate the U.S. Federal Reserve note in order to give it a appearance of a value.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But it didn't really have value. The only reason why it sustained as long as it did, because America through Aramco and OPEC was forcing everybody to trade oil in U.S. dollars because they had that stranglehold on Saudi Arabia and a lot of those Arab countries by military threat and by resource development. Mm-hmm. Most of us don't know that the United States went to Saudi Arabia in assisted them in setting up the oil rigs and all that over there. That's a carryover from America's 1800s, right? They don't find oil in Saudi Arabia until like the 1920s or 30s. So they haven't even been having money 100 years over there, and look how they doing.
Yep.
Now imagine when we had the same access to our own wealth as they have to theirs. Because we got way more oil.
It's right. Oklahoma is the oil capital of the world. Why they ain't telling nobody yet? Why they ain't mentioning that, bro? Why ain't nobody mentioning this shit?
Listen, you got people like El Chapo. He was dealing with the coca. And he didn't know that the resource they was forcing him to use, so he wouldn't take the resource that he was supposed to righteously use, the mineral wealth of Mexico. I tried to tell the people from Mexico, look up what they taking out of Mexico and ask where's that money going and who getting it. Because if Mexico's poverty is so great to make everybody want to run up here, but they minerally filthy rich. They richer than any other. They richer than Saudi Arabia, but they ain't reaping the rewards. They outsourcing the wealth. They concealing the wealth from the people. They holding it in the warlock. Now the warlock is open. Ain't no more war. It's just cleanup now. What you call the aftermath. Dr. Dre, been there, done that. You got guns, we got straps. You dig? So if they stop you from using the wealth of the land, you gonna find some way to get it from the dirt. That's our nature. They know that. So what they do, they put blockades over the nickel, cobalt, oil, because you don't know, Mexico is filthy rich in oil too. They got just as much oil as Saudi Arabia, but they're not allowed. They under U.S. embargo.
Right. And they got diamonds. Doc said they got a whole bunch of diamonds on there. And he said you can smuggle, people be smuggling whole kilos, but if you can't even smuggle a little small piece of diamond from over there, they said they search you real hard for little diamonds and shit to see if you bringing it back over here. I said, damn, so they must got a lot of emeralds and stones over in Mexico. They rich on.
They got them all up and down the West Coast.
Yeah.
They just don't tell people. They think that the gold rush was only gold. They got diamonds out west, rubies, sapphires, all that. They just don't want you to know it because as long as you think all of the wealth comes from one place, you're not gonna look over here and say, "Where's my wealth going?"
Right.
That's what Donald Trump's saying. Stop looking at everybody else's pockets to check yours.
Damn, that's a cold.
You remember before they shot Malcolm, that nigga said, "Get your hand on my pocket."
Yeah, yeah.
Chickens coming home to roost. We coming to get their hands out our pocket, and to get the one who stuck his hand in there, and the one who pocket he stuck it in, because they was working together.
Man, that's cold. That's become my next question, Rod. Because I got a lot of guys out here that got their money in the bank. Now, being that we're going into this type of new era, and some people got over 10,000 in the bank. What do you think? Should you think they should have all their money in the bank, or should they have half in the bank? What are your perspective on having money in the bank, being that we're going into this system?
All I can tell you is anybody with money in the bank is not going to lose it. When the banks close for the resetting of the currency, then when they open back up, you're going to get the adjusted rate, right? Then the adjusted rate is the difference without inflation attached onto it. So your 10,000 might turn into 100,000 on the rate adjustment to the new currency. Then it might turn around. They got to give you your penalty for holding your money. And that can be, so far, the precedent is set at roughly 20%. So it can be as high as 20%.
So let me ask you this. Should they put that in a trust? Like have a trust where it protects that? Because under like the straw man system, you know, if they say, oh, well, because they got a thing, the IRS, not the IRS, it's somebody, they wrote a new clause in where they can seize your account under this straw man thing. So if they are the straw man, or should they put that account in a trust, or they land or whatever? Like when the switch happens, if they got land, should they put that in the trust or would they be good?
Okay, so right now it ain't gonna really matter because whatever you got right now, if somebody try to take it for you and turn around, it's gonna be secure because you already got it right now. That's the first thing gonna be secure. What you have right now is what the system gonna be designed to do. Once everybody's stuff, what they got right now is secure, then we say, okay, now let's see who the injured parties is and where they injured at and how we can compensate them, right? So then the first thing they're gonna go through is mortgages, car loans, and mortgages and car loan and credit cards, and systematically start giving people back money. People who had to file bankruptcy because they $300,000-$400,000 in credit card debt.
Damn, that's crazy.
That's usury. That was a way to enslave you to be a perpetual donor to the credit card's coffers.
Damn. I like the credit card system because I like it better than using fiat, because once I use the credit card, I just take the fiat and pay the credit card off and make my credit score go up. That way, if I do want to get some,
your credit score being the higher your credit score, the better slave you is. That's all that means.
Oh yeah, that sounds about right.
Look, I take a debit card full of money than a credit card full of credit any day.
Why? What's your perspective on that? Like, why you don't like using the credit card? Because it seems like to me,
debt is slavery.
You ain't making no. It seems like to me, when the debit, you ain't making no money.
Debt is slavery.
Yeah,
it's automatic. As soon as you in debt to somebody, you they slave.
I'm saying it's a different type of credit card that I'm talking about.
It don't matter what credit. As soon as you say credit, you saying slave.
Yeah, I get that part.
Credit. A creditor is the slave owner, right? Because he gave the creditee the credit.
Yeah, you become the debtor. I understand that part. What I'm saying is, all right, so what we saying, we got an option. All right, we're using the fiat, which ain't money, so we still a slave using it, and we're using the credit. So either way it go, we're a slave on both ends. But what I'm saying is, when we use the credit, they keep the credit bureau keeps a record of it. And so if I had $10, right? I go in the store and spend that 10. All right, so that 10 just got spent. And I paid tax on it. But say if I go in there and use my credit card, right, and I put 10 and I spent 10 on my credit card, they're gonna create a credit report for me. Boom. And I just take the $10 because I got a secure credit card. So secure credit card, it's like I already gave them a certain amount of money and I'm just paying myself back. And so they report that at the credit bureau or the credit union. They report that. I'm just saying, if you still want to work the system this way. So it's
not working the system, it's working you.
I don't think you get what I'm saying. I get what you're saying.
Soon as you said a secured credit card, it's not a debt instrument anymore.
Go ahead.
Because you have on reserve capital to cover the balance of whatever you use on the card. That's debit. That's not credit.
But they still working. I work it as a credit, and it goes to my credit report, and it makes my credit score.
Right. That's because of the nature of the fiat.
Okay.
It's not because of the access to the card. The card, you had to put fiat up as the collateral. The collateral is already there on the secured card.
Yeah, that's a secured card.
That's the same as having gold on reserve that supports this currency that's about to come out.
Right.
They can't print currency that devalues the gold. That means they can't print currency value that exceed the value of gold on reserve.
Right.
Okay, now, if you have a secured credit card, the credit card limit is how much you put up as collateral.
Mm-hmm.
If they was really giving you a credit card, whatever you put up would be 10% of your available accessible credit line. But they don't do that with secure cards. Secure card means if it's a $500, look, if it's a $500 secured credit card, you got to put up $500. That's not credit.
Right.
It's the illusion of credit so that you won't realize the difference in the debt debit credit systems. It's an illusion. It's a David Copperfield trick.
Yeah, I know
done by bankers.
Yeah, so you saying don't even fuck with it. But I'm saying I'm
not saying whether to mess with it or not. Look, this is the number one thing for anybody that's looking for advice from somebody else. First, assess your situation.
Okay.
If I don't know your situation and I try to tell you how to resolve your situation without understanding it, I'm giving you bad advice and bad information.
Go ahead.
But as soon as I can understand exactly what you're saying about your situation, where you come from, then I could give you the resources to help you figure out what you're doing. But everybody got to know their situation, right? Secure your own asset first. Secure the self first.
Mm-hmm.
Right? That means if you paying mortgage and you don't know nothing about this stuff we talking about, keep paying your mortgage so you don't have to deal with the foreclosure process. But if you understand what's going on and you want to take your risk to start paying your mortgage, be aware that we don't know how long this is going to last, so we don't know how long you got to stop paying your mortgage. Or else we could tell you 90 days is how many you got to be at least 3 months behind before they initiate a foreclosure.
Yeah, and then for the insurance will pay the bank off whatever your note was. Say if your note was $400,000, they'll pay the AIG pays off that note because the bank get it insured.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so they gonna get the money no matter what, and then they foreclose your house still. And that's really the illegal part. The illegal part is them selling your contract without your knowledge, like selling that note or selling that particular.
That's the same thing. Credit cards. Have you ever get called from a bill collector?
Yeah, right. That's fact.
Once they sold your credit, your debt instrument to somebody else, it settles the debt with you.
Yep, that's illegal. Yep,
it automatically look. If they didn't ask you to switch it over to an arbitrator and they just sent it to a third party, right, they said, hey, we don't accept the debt no more. If they pay you, they pay you. If they don't, they don't.
Yeah. But they slick now, Rod. They put in a contract for you sign it. The first one there, if you forfeit this contract, you agree to us selling it to somebody else. They get slick and add